I haven't heard from my advisor. Like, have they forgot about me? I just look at my bank this day each month. Money's just showing up. But he is not good at taking investment advice. Time in the market is better than timing the market. Roth is post-tax. Post-tax is not Roth. Because if your bank is such a good investment, then surely that bank is going to have a lot of their money sitting at their bank. Wrong. Because looking rich and building wealth are very different habits. They're opposite. An IRA that I would have to pay income taxes on in retirement, I have to pay no taxes on. Okay, today we're gonna give you 5 money moves that you can implement right now that will help on your retirement journey, okay? 5 points. Point number 1, automating good decisions. Okay, automating good decisions. If you think about this, there isn't many meaningful areas of your life that you can automate, okay? And let me just expand on that. Showing up for your kids, or showing up for your church, or showing up to the gym, or showing up and being on top of your diet, right? Staying healthy. Doing those things, you can't automate it. You have to consciously make the decision each day to show up and show out in those areas. Finances, oftentimes finances is one of those things that is extremely important, but all you got to do is get the right decision the first time and you can automate it in most cases. Okay, let me give you a few examples. So, meetings. When meeting with your financial advisor, how many times have you thought to yourself like, hey, it's been 90 days, 180 days, a year. I haven't heard from my advisor. Like, have they forgot about me? That happens because meetings aren't automated. Like, my clients know, hey, after I have a review with my client, if I have one today and I sit down, meet with my client, have a review, within 48 hours, they know that they're going to get an invite for the next one. 90 days from now, it's going to be at this date, this time. They already know it's on the books. I automate it. We don't think about it. Nothing slips between the cracks. Withdrawals. All my retired clients know, hey, I don't have to think about how much is showing up at what time. I just look at my bank this day each month. Money's just showing up. Tyler thinks about it. I don't have to think about it. It's automated. This amount on this date goes up with inflation. Credit cards. If you are not set up on auto pay, you gotta be, okay? You don't want to run any risk of accruing a balance on those credit cards. So you should be set up on auto pay, maybe like the 5th of every month. Auto pay money just wipes out those credit cards. Now, we're down here, bank. This might sound simple, but I see a lot of prospective clients getting this wrong. So a prospective client comes to me and they say, hey, well, each month I get paid $10,000 and that $10,000 is after taxes and after my investing, because to the next point, I save first, spend second. I heard that from you, Tyler, save first, spend second. So my 401k is my investments. I save into those. Taxes is pulled out. $10,000 hits my bank each month. And I don't quite know my fixed expenses, so I wait till those pull from my checking account, and then I move some money over to my savings account, and then I do a little bit of math and then figure out how much I want to send to my spouse and I's joint savings account. Why are you thinking about that stuff? It should be automated. You should know your fixed expenses, okay? So Mr. and Mrs. prospective clients, your fixed expenses are $6,500. That's what it shows the past 12 months. $6,500 is pulled for your mortgage and your utilities and your toilet water and all that stuff. $6,500 is your fixed expenses. So what that means is you get paid $10,000, $6,500 is fixed, so $3,500 must be your discretionary. Yeah, that sounds good. So you should have a auto transfer set up from your checking to your savings each month for $3,500, because we're going to pull your discretionary expenses. We're going to link your credit cards. Your credit cards are your discretionary, right? That's what you're using to buy Chipotle and Amazon and the fancy dinners is being swiped on your credit card. So we're going to link that credit card up to your savings account because that's the discretionary account. And this is going to auto pull from the savings account each month, the 5th of every month. And you know, if more than 3,500 auto pulls to wipe out those credit cards, you overspent. It should be automated, right? It's too easy to automate. You want to do that. Now, point number 2, once you automate good decisions, don't change them, right? Like stay the course. Now, I'm not saying the good decisions that you automate today are the best decisions for you 10 years from now. You know, I know life evolves, people change, like circumstances change. I know that. But more oftentimes than not, we see people react and change their plan, their game plan, their good decisions. They change because they're reacting to things. I'll give you the most common example, the stock market, okay? Especially as people get closer to retirement, people oftentimes react to the stock market going down or news breaking that they might not like and they think the market's going to go down. You don't want to do that. Right? Like, I'll give you a client example. So we have a client, a married couple. I enjoy their presence like entirely. I really enjoy them. And the wife, I tell you what, she is very good at taking advice. So whatever we tell her to do, she basically does it from an investment perspective. And I enjoy her a ton. Now, the husband, I enjoy him a ton, but he is not good at taking investment advice. And if he were in the room right now, he would be nodding his head, yeah, I'm not. And I say this with a smirk on my face because him and I both know a couple months ago, he has this old 401k that's invested, okay? And he hasn't rolled it here for us to manage, which is okay, but he has it invested and he's managing the investments. And in the course of 1 week, he moved money that was invested in this 401k into cash, and then in that same week, he moved it back into the investments. He tried to time the market. That's like the number one rule you don't do. Don't time the market. The famous saying, time in the market is better than timing the market. Like, you don't try to time the market. He tried to do this. And why did he do this? Because news broke that he didn't like. He thought the market was going to go down, so he freaked out, moved the money into cash. Once he realized that the market wasn't going to go down, he swept it back into the investments. It's like, you don't want to do that, right? And I told him that. But you don't want to change course based off of fear. Now, what we try to do is we actually try to turn what may appear like a bad situation into something good. We try to do this for clients, and the market going down can be an opportunity. All of our clients know, hey, if the market's going down, Tyler is going to probably see some type of opportunity out there. It is an opportunity, and this is just one of many opportunities that can happen, but let's assume that Microsoft is at $100, and you bought into Microsoft last week. And Google's also at 100. And the market goes down. It went down 10%. And the Microsoft that you bought for last week for 100 is now $90 in the course of 1 week. Now, sidebar, you know I don't like investing in individual companies, but it's just an example. Okay, so $90 it went down to. What you are thinking on your own is, I lost 10% in a week? I'm not losing more money. I'm moving this $90 to the bank. It's going to the bank. I'm not 10% loss in a week, no way. Microsoft, terrible investment. And what happens is within a couple weeks, that Microsoft goes back up to $100, okay? And you're thinking to yourself, you know what? Maybe Microsoft isn't such a bad investment. Maybe I was just overreacting. Okay, I jumped the gun a little bit. Let me move money back into the bank because I know I need to have it invested somewhere. Let me move it from the bank back into Microsoft. But you only had $90 because you lost 10%. So you have to figure out a way to come up with the other $10. Okay? So in this scenario, you lost 10 bucks, 10%. Now, what we're telling clients is, okay, so Microsoft and Google, they're at 100. They both went down to 90 because the stock moves the same way. Now, does the stock move the same way? No, but in this example, they do. Okay, I mean, they have similar color logos, so maybe they do move the same way, right? I'm joking. But when Microsoft was down, Google was down. This is an opportunity, but we're not sending it to the bank. We're not losing 10%. What we're doing is we're sending this $90 to Google. Google's also down, okay? But it's going to come back up at some point, and it did, okay? So we sent the money not to the bank, but we sent it to Google while it was at 90. Both were at 90, and Google came back up to 100. You started with 100, you ended with 100. You lost no money. But what happened on paper? On paper, you did lose 10% in Microsoft. You did lose $10 in Microsoft. Even though you were smart and you stuck it in a different investment that came back up at the same time. So technically, you did lose no money. On paper, you lost 10%, which means you just created a tax deduction for yourself because you are able to deduct losses. This is some of the stuff that we do for clients, right? So there is opportunities. We can make lemonade out of lemons, okay? So let's keep moving. Fast and furious here. So we got, what do we got here? We got point number 3. Okay, this is what we got here. We got point number 3. You want to have some basic understanding of taxes. You, the viewer. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. Me? Isn't that your job, Tyler, to understand taxes? Why do I need to understand it? My job is XYZ. It's not taxes. Isn't that your job? Yes, it is my job. Yeah, it is. But there's a good chance that you watching, you're not working with me, right? And even if you were, you still want to have some basic understanding, okay? And let me give you a few examples, some scenarios where this proves you have a basic understanding, right? So you're young. This isn't most of our viewers, but let's assume that you're young, you're early in your career, and you're trying to decide what to invest in. And what you do is you just auto invest in your 401k. They roll you into the pre-tax 401k. You don't want to do that, right? Why not? Well, you're young, your income's likely lower, okay? And you have a few decades before you actually retire. So your investments are about to grow for the next few decades before you need them. Wouldn't it be nice to get that compounding and growing in a tax-free spot rather than a place that you'll have to pay taxes on later on? That's what a Roth is, right? So you're young, contribute to that Roth, and all the compounding and growing will be tax-free. And by the way, your income's low, so it's okay that you're contributing after-tax money to this Roth because your income's lower anyways. Now, when you're established, keyword established, not old, when you're established, your income's probably higher, so you can benefit from getting some tax deductions. You're probably thinking like, yeah, my income's pretty high. Like I'm getting taxed at like 32, 37%. Like I could use some deductions. Well, maybe now you start contributing to the pre-tax account. Get that tax deduction. And the reason why you're doing this is because you've already built up that Roth pool of money because you were younger. Now it's time to get those deductions while your income's high. Build up the pre-tax leg of the stool. Investments. If you're holding stocks, bonds, whatever it is, holding certain investments in certain accounts results in different taxations. Okay, I'm going to expand on that another time. Roth versus post-tax. Not a lot of people know Roth is post-tax. Post-tax is not Roth. Roth is post-tax. Post-tax is not Roth. What are you talking about, Tyler? Okay, let's think about this. So you contribute to a Roth. You contribute to a Roth. That's money that has been taxed. It's after-tax money you're contributing to a Roth. And all of the compounding and growing that happens inside that Roth is tax-free as well. I know it almost sounds too good to be true, but it's true. So you contribute to a Roth, after-tax money, all the compounding growing is tax-free. Now, a post-tax account, like a Roth or a post-tax 401k, a post-tax account, you contribute to that account after tax as well, but all of the compounding and growing is not tax-free. You're going to pay taxes on it when you pull it out. Okay, so not a lot of people know that. You want to have a basic understanding of taxes. Last one, I'll give you an example and then we'll move on. Fees. When working with an advisor, there's fees to do it. A management fee. Okay, now let's assume in this scenario, we have a prospective client that comes to us and they have a $1 million in a pre-tax IRA and then $1 million in an investment account. $1 million in an IRA, $1 million in an investment account. So a total of $2 million. And our fees are 1%. Now for that person, our fees would be a little bit lower, but let's assume 1%. Okay, so 1% of $2 million is $20,000. That's our fee, $20,000. And what most advisors do is they charge the pre-tax IRA 1%, they charge the investment account 1%. In total, each of those accounts get billed 10 grand. 10 grand times 2 is 20,000. Well, with some basic understanding of taxes, we know, hey, why would we bill the investment account 1%? Because if we bill that taxable investment account, you are going to have to pay taxes on that bill. So not only are you getting billed, you're also paying taxes on it at the end of the year. Let's just not bill the investment account and let's send a 2% fee to the IRA. 2% of $1 million is still $20,000, so it's still the same fee. Instead of billing 1% to each of the accounts, we bill 0 and then 2% to the IRA. So it's still $20,000. Why are we doing that? If we bill a pre-tax IRA, you have to pay no taxes on it. An advisory, a financial advisor's fee billed to an IRA, you have to pay no taxes on it. I know what you're thinking. So you mean to tell me an IRA that I would have to pay income taxes on in retirement, I have to pay no taxes on that fee? No taxes. Okay, so it's almost like a tax deductible bill. It's awesome. So you want to have some basic understanding of taxes. Now, let's move on. Let's keep going. Point number 4. Okay, point number 4 that we're looking at, excess money at the bank. Don't do it. Don't do it. Excess money at the bank, don't do it. There is 3 scenarios where you need money at the bank. Outside of these 3, you don't. Okay? Let me give you the 3. Emergency fund, we all know of that. You, the viewer, 3 to 6 months of expenses you want in your emergency fund. If you've heard of some financial guru telling you different, they're wrong. This is straight out of the CFP handbook. Okay? 3 to 6 months of expenses. If you're single, you probably float towards 6 months. If you're married, dual income, then you could float closer to 3. Emergency fund, someone's telling you, hey, you don't need it, you need it. Okay? Now, if you're within 24 months of a big purchase that you're going to make with cash, because buying this big purchase outright is the best thing for you, assuming it is, you want that money at the bank. Okay, if you're getting a house, a car, XYZ, and you're paying cash for it, if you're within 24 months of that purchase, start floating that cash towards the bank. Okay, now if you're retired, you should have 2 years worth of your retirement income sitting at the bank as well. Okay, now this is not a one-size-fits-all. So if you're retired and you're watching this and you don't have 2 years, don't go change it. Sit with an advisor first. But a general rule of thumb is you want somewhere around 2 years worth of your retirement income at the bank. Okay, Outside of this, everything else should be invested by nightfall. Okay? And the reason why a lot of people have more than this at the bank, and why they do is because they think the bank is safe. Let me dispute this. So the bank is going to get you 3% returns. Now, hopefully you don't like 3%, but in case you do, you, the viewer, are thinking, 3%, that's not too bad. After taxes, it is 2%. What are you thinking now? I don't love it. After inflation, it is negative 1%. I know you don't like that. Negative 1% after taxes and inflation. That's not a good investment. You don't settle for negative. That's not good. Now, if you don't believe me on this, just look it up. And also a good exercise for you, whoever you bank with, look up their balance sheet, your bank's balance sheet. Because if your bank is such a good investment, then surely that bank is going to have a lot of their money sitting at their bank, right? Wrong. That's not what you'll see. You're going to see your bank, the way that they're moving their money is a lot different than just storing it all at the bank. They're getting the money working for them. Okay, so just follow the money, and that will be eye-opening. Now, point number 4. I had to do it. I had to do it. Or point number 5. Last point, point number 5. It came quick. Wow. So the comparison trap. The comparison trap, I'm going to give you another client story. So I had a client, this was probably about like 6 weeks ago now. Great client. Another couple. Sometimes the spouse, the wife is on call, but not all the time. The husband likes finances a lot more than the wife does. But both of them were on this call this time. So I was like, this is awesome. It's great to see you both. But I could tell that their energy was a little bit different. And I was like, okay, well, I was trying to fish around. I was like, what's going on, right? Like, lighten the mood. In a little bit of an embarrassed manner, they told me, Tyler, we got $25,000 of credit card debt. And I was a little bit shocked because they've been great savers, investors. They've been saving for a long period of time, and they've been great at it. They haven't missed any monthly savings and investing. And, at first I reassured them, because we have money in different investments, right? We can wipe out this credit card debt. We can move money from this place to this place. Make sure you don't accrue this 20% interest anymore. And when I reassured them, I knew my game plan was going to be to figure out how this happened, right? Now, once I reassured them, their spirits were lifted, and they kind of like played their cards at that point. And within 60 seconds, they told me, hey, Tyler, we got some cool news. We bought a golf cart. And I asked them, so you mean to tell me that you guys had $25,000 of credit card debt and you bought a golf cart? They're like, well, no, technically we had $17,000 of credit card debt, and then we bought the golf cart. Now we're at 25. I was like, okay, if this isn't keeping up with the Joneses, I don't know what is. I mean, this is like the purest example of keeping up with the Joneses, because they kept on telling me like, well, we live in a golf cart community. Everyone has golf carts. There's a golf course right down the road that we have this country membership to. And they kept on justifying it, but it was unequivocally keeping up with the Joneses, right? And you don't want to do that. I told them, if you don't know the balance sheet of these folks that you're comparing yourself to, don't compare yourself to them. Or better yet, just don't compare yourself to other people in general, right? Like, that goes way beyond finances. That's just healthy living. But if you don't know their balance sheet, don't compare yourself, because looking rich and building wealth are very different habits. They're opposite. So try not to compare yourself, especially when the person you're comparing yourself might be at different chapters of life. Okay, now hopefully you got something out of this video. Comment down below anything that you want to see next. or if there's any questions that arose out of this video. And stay tuned to our next one. It's going to be a great one. I appreciate you being here.